professionals in the community, nurses, doctors, dietitians, you name it. My master's degree also is in healthcare chaplaincy, and prior to this field, which is ever evolving, I worked as a commercial property auditor for 13 years, and before that, I served in the U.S. Air Force, and so and before that, Burger King, whatever. But I'm grateful to be here. I'm just here to shed some light and perspectives, speculations, opinions, but this is a huge learning experience. But I love this platform that Amber has facilitated.
Brandon Powell, business therapist. Happy to be here. Thank you.
I am Mitchell Thomas, aka the Black Aristocrat. You can find me on all social media websites, music, and my book is out. Construction company, security. You probably, if you've been to any clubs in Dallas, probably DFW area, you probably saw me. But yes, I am grateful to be here for the second time. Appreciate that.
My name is Derek Simmons. I own a sound and lighting company in IT, DS Sounds. Been doing it for over 30 years. Serial entrepreneur. I also do video production. I have a film studio right on Rosedale here in Fort Worth. So any type of production and content creation, you can just right on Rosedale here in Fort Worth. I'm from Fort Worth, and so that's what we do.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much for those introductions. I want to highlight some of these self-care books that they have here at the Doc Bookshop. One thing about working in relationships, building relationships, you want to focus on yourself, how you can better represent yourself in order to have a better relationship with, whether it's an intimate partner, whether it's a business relationship. You always want to focus on what you're doing first in order to show up better for the next person. So I have a variety of books here at the table. I'll name a few. Self-Care for Black Men, 100 Ways to Heal and Liberate.
I'm taking to my video. By your chair.
Another book, Black Love is a Revolutionary Act. So some of these books focus on Black love and how we can improve Black relationships, and focus on men's self-care, women's self-care. Another book, All About Love, Bell Hooks, New Visions. Finding Waypoints, A Warrior's Journey Towards Peace and Purpose, to read. Okay, so feel free during the end of this session, you'll go around, you can come around and look at these books, and also take a look around in the Doc Bookshop. It is important that we educate ourselves on self-care, relationship, love, just life in general, and what better way to not, you're in the bookshop. So before you leave, check out what the Doc Bookshop has to offer. Without further ado, I'll come take my seat. Okay, first question is, what standard do you measure a woman by?
So the question is, what standard do you measure a woman by? And so personally, for me, I'm biblical principle, and naturally I go back to, and I think everybody has heard me before, if you were here last time, Proverbs 31. I look at that standard, and of course, there are different things that we can take from Proverbs 31. But I think it's important to mention when I say, hey, what standard do I measure the woman by? I also see the Proverbs 31 man in there as well. An individual who has a sober mind, who's able to work with and represent that Proverbs 31 woman.
Before I give my answer, I just want to take a moment out of gratitude. Can we give a round of applause to Amber for putting this event together? I only say that because I've done events, and the AC and the sound and the food that don't just show up, and so we appreciate. And I've developed a friendship with Amber, and so I just appreciate her for putting this together. To piggyback off of Isaiah's point, practically speaking, I would say it varies from man to man, because I think it's not fair for any man to have a standard for a woman that's higher than his standard for himself.
There you go.
And I think the challenge is we have a lot of us who, on both sides, but we'll say for the men that have aspirations and standards for a woman, and they haven't done the inventory. And so where they may, even if they got that particular said woman who is Proverbs, if you are not the compatible equivalent, then you asking for something you're not ready for.
And then if I can just lean into that, because I think it's a little clarity behind that as well, because when we say standard, we talk about what we desire, right? Like, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're measured by, right? And so we may not always be at that standard, correct? And because we may not always be at that standard, can we be developed to that standard? Can we see the attributes? Can we see those abilities? Can we cultivate those things? Not only in our ladies, right? Not only in our women, but also in ourselves, because I think that was an amazing point for him to say, hey, look, where are you at? And I think that correlates with the fact that you must have that Proverbs 31 man who has the mind, right, to be able to partner with that woman, to be able to see those different goals, those dreams, those aspirations, bring those into fruition with a strategic plan, right? And it's a beautiful thing for anyone to say, hey, look, and I think, again, personally, that's where we have to be like, hey, look, this is my standard. This is where I'm at. This is what I desire. This is what I'm looking for. Because it does change, right, per person. But I think it's really important to also have something in place as a community. So, hey, look, what are we looking to do as a community? We got relationships. We know that the central part of any community is the family. What are we doing to make sure that we have strong relationships? And what are those standards that we require? Even if we sat down as a group of men, said, hey man, let's sit down, let's develop ourselves as men. But what are we looking for in our women, and how are we going to cultivate that? I think we have to have something to resort to, something to go back to. And whether it's biblical principle or something else, I think it's important to have a standard to be able to measure by.
All right, so standards, high value, like those words become dangerous lately. They become weapons now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you say something about a standard, you a sassy man. I got standards on you, sassy. Really? Oh, I'm high value. How you high value? Why do I tell you? You should see it. You know, so it's like it's hard having a standard. It's hard being us, period. So having a standard, it's like you have to evolve around me. Like, I can't even give you a standard. You have to actually just become. You have to become. It's like you get with your person, and you know it's your person. It's not a standard. You know your person. You feel it's right. The atmosphere is right.
Y'all get it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, like I said, let me see if I can go back a little bit.
Become. It's not what become. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, like with your person, it's not a standard, because once y'all jail, it's just a flowing river, and rivers are never ending. Like the Nile, it's never ending. So your standard, I can't like use that word, because my standards are so high that you can't reach them. So you have to evolve. So once you form into who I need you to be, I can form into who you need me to be. So it's kind of like I guess glue. Put glue together, different types of glue together, and make it one. It's like it just has to fit. So I can't. I don't want to use the word standard. So I'm like if we fit, if we gel together, we vibe together, a soul tie. I like those words better than standards or a high value person, because both of those you can walk away from. A standard changes, does it not?
Supposed to.
Does it not? Standards change.
Right.
But when you with your person, it's forever. You can't change forever. So the standards, I don't have a standard, but I would know. I would know when it's up.
I would say my standard would be, I definitely agree, it does evolve, but I have some basic standards that I could say that I would prefer. And that's to be emotional, intelligent, where you know how to communicate effectively. You can control your emotions to a certain extent. That you have a healthy relation, that you have had a healthy relationship with a man outside of sexual relationship, because it allow you to communicate and treat, you know, me a certain way. I feel. I want you to be able to be attentive to my needs and to the needs of others. I want you to be open-minded, willing to grow, not thinking that you know everything, willing to listen, willing to travel. My list can go on and on. As you can see, 'cause for me, I'm very intuitive of what I want. Now, I will say that the standard changed according to the woman, because my expectation changed because of the woman that I have. But my basic standard is someone that can really be, because my love language is acts of service, so someone that can really be attentive and look for my desires, and not willing to put her desires sometime to the side, but still have them at the forefront, because I'll take care of that as well. But if we talk about my desires, that would be my desires.
You use the word measure, it has some mathematical calculations in there, and I don't like math. But, you know, when it comes to measuring a woman by standards, you know, at this stage, at this juncture in my life, in the 60s, you know, it's just a matter of respecting what's important to her, what she values in life as far as her health. When it comes to her emotional intelligence, just being aware of her emotional being, her temperance, how she's not overreacting to what society is causing panic towards us. For example, with so much going on in the political realm, to a degree, everyone's all of a sudden wanting to just move out the country, just pack up and leave. You know, I'm not for that right now. You know, a peace is what you make of it. And so I measure a woman by her standards in regards to what's meaningful to her, what really means to her, what is important to her.
Okay, that's good nice. I mean, when we talk about measuring other people, it doesn't really sit. It doesn't really sit right with me, because who am I to measure you? The only person that I can really evaluate within substantive ability is myself. When I think about a partner or somebody that I would, and whether it be romantic, platonic, like my friends, any of that, are you willing to grow? Are you willing to be self-reflective? Because of course we're not always going to get it right. But are you able to look at your missteps and be like, hey, look, you know what? We're gonna move around. We're gonna fix that. Hey, that didn't come out well. I didn't say that the right way. I didn't handle that properly. Like, are we able to adjust, and are we able to grow?
Okay, thank y'all very much. The next question we're gonna move on to is, how does lashes, weave, and physical alterations to the body influence your decision in dating? Let me repeat that question for you all.
No, we got you.
I'll take it off. Okay, so look, if you're gonna do it, just like with anything else, do it well. Like, it's very simple. We all know what excess looks like, but I think it all balances out to the preference of the person that is viewing it, because we all different, so we're all gonna have different viewpoints. Like, hey, what I like, Brandon may not like. I'll stop tell them all the business. But no, like, I think anything that you're gonna do, like, it needs to be, the execution of it needs to be done well. Like, regardless of what it is, whether you wear your hair natural, sure, we can tell you if you ain't had a wash, admit it. Like, take care of yourself. No, I just agree with that. But no, if you're gonna do it well.
So I would, I'm still processing that. The reason I was eager to answer it, there is a negative trope that goes around with men being critical of that. I think overall for me, I'm a very attentive person with myself. It goes back to the last point we just made. And so because I'm very attentive, I know the kind of care that I spend hours each day in preparing myself and grooming myself. And so it creates a high sense of self-awareness. And so really, I'm not as concerned about the additional cosmetics or things that are done if it's done well, because I have the healthy standard for myself. And so I'm very observant. I've been married before, so I know the ups and downs. I've taken an X-Acto knife and a red tail comb and taken down, the hair. I know how to do all that. So just doing it well. If I'm around you and I can tell how you care for yourself, I don't have to say anything negatively, but I'm going to be observant of it. Not because I'm judgmental, it's because I'm observant with myself. I spend 2 hours a day. I'm bald headed, but I spend a lot of time on my own self. And so I naturally can see the small details. And so I don't really care what it is. If it's done well, then it's going to be appealing. Even my beard is a form of makeup. It's a form of covering. And so it doesn't really matter. Now there's excessiveness to it, but for the most part, just do it tastefully.
Yeah, so I'll jump in. I might be a little bit more different from these gentlemen here. Personally, I'm not a fan of the makeup and all those other things. And I met somebody that was in that same lane with me. My wife, we don't like the makeup too much, right? Not against it, right? I want you to look beautiful. I want you to get your eyebrows arched if that's what you want to do. Get your nails done if that's what you want to do. Petty, manny, all those things I'm cool with. Again, the excess part is crazy. When you look around and your makeup is on your clothes, and your makeup is on my clothes, and your makeup is on the napkins, and everything that's around, that's a problem. And that's when we start seeing that a lot of our beautiful Black women are starting to mask themselves. They're starting to put a mask on, and it's fine. Like my wife, she'll put the eyeshadow on. I'm not opposed to that, right? But if I start seeing cake and my wife start looking like someone else, she doesn't look like the person I love. She doesn't look like the person I desire. My mom wear makeup. My sisters wear makeup. I'm not against it, but for me personally, don't want my wife having it. And she's a beautiful lady by herself, So I love her to represent who she is. I love her to be confident in the fact that she married a man that loved her as who she is. And if I met her with makeup and I decided to be with her and she had makeup, that's where I would be. But my personal stance on it is that a lot of times it's also deemed in a measure of I'm denying who I am, or what I look like, or what I have, or what I possess. My beauty, how God created me, how I'm just uniquely created to present myself to everyone else. Now I can go get a haircut, and I can get some designs in it. So, I'm not opposed to the hair and things of that magnitude. It's just really important for me to see the person that I love and not have to look past makeup, look past details, look past all the other things that you can put on.
Catfish. Everybody saw the movie with the Wayans brothers. I ain't even gonna say the names. Y'all know it's a low down dirty shame. Where that woman came to that house, took a leg off her arm, off a wig, off the makeup. Have y'all not seen it? Have nobody seen Low Down Dirty Shame? Am I the only one to see it? Catfish. No. But seriously though, it's not required. We don't need it. I want to see you in all seasons. So if the only season I see you in is your makeup season, we got a problem. Yeah. If you one of them girls that got to wake up, put makeup on, before I wake up so I can see when you look like, or you can see it all your seasons, all of them. And the most of your seasons is gonna be without the makeup. See what I'm saying? So why are we all, every time I see why you gotta have makeup on, why you gotta have your hair done? I need the natural look. I need to know what I'm looking at. I wanna look at you like, that's it right there. We don't get that when there's a whole bunch of makeup on. I know y'all done seen all these transformation women where women don't even look the same anymore. This color one color, this color the other.
Yeah.
That's not good. Somebody do some blending somewhere. So it's not working. So if you can take your face off, you got too much makeup on. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? And I know y'all say y'all do it for us, but I promise y'all don't. Y'all do it for each other. Y'all battling with each other because we don't need it.
We do it
We don't need it.
not for each
We
other.
don't need, like he said, I don't want to wake. I got silk sheets. I don't want that on my sheets. Right? I got wipes in the bath. Take it, handle that. We ain't finna be doing all this. But yeah, makeup is not necessary. But some women that when you know how to do it in this situation, show out. Show out. I done seen something. Oh, mom, you did that. Maybe if I stop complimenting you, something going on. You're doing right. So if you can blend it, I get it, but don't be so heavy with it. But if for us though, it's not needed. We get it though. Like you say, I grow myself like this, brother. I be in the mirror. I got a big old mirror. I ain't got no little mirror. You know what I'm saying? I got the whole setup, cologne come down the wall right here, the shave, the body spray. Like I get the oil on. Then I put the, you know what I'm saying? So I do the whole lick. I know what y'all going through. We do it too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like a lot of times it's not even necessary.
Wow. I agree with y'all fellas to a certain extent. I want you to really be, for me personally, I don't want you to change. I want you to be who you are, but I do want you to have a sense of style. So if that's your style, if you want to wear a mohawk, if you want to wear a weave, I don't really care. Either way, as long as I'm attracted to you, you're confident, you're secure in who you are. Either way, you can have the weave, you can not have the weave, it can be natural. I don't want you to be so judgmental though of others, because a lot of times women will, be judgmental of others. So for me, as long as you confident, you strong in who you are, and I'm attracted to you, let's rock. Now I don't prefer you to get your butt done and all that. I don't really like, because it feels different. The boobs I hate. Yeah, as long as they feel, the butt feel. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I feel the difference in the butt. Yeah, circumference with, it's like, it's different. So I prefer you not to have your butt done, really. But if it's okay if it's in proportion with everything. That was the question, right? Part of the question. Yeah, it's cosmetic. So yeah, the breasts is like, they still feel kind of real, but the butt, it don't move the same. So I prefer you not to have that done. But if it say,
I just want to pick up
no, I'm serious.
like what he's saying, because whatever makes her happy,
is what he
she's
said.
happy.
Yeah,
She's
she
happy
happy.
with herself. She's content.
Yep.
But I'm in healthcare. I'm concerned about what's going in your bloodstream,
Right.
what you're putting on your skin, the after effects, the side effects, possibly the adverse effects. Ask any Black dermatologist, and they will tell you. For example, recently I was introduced to shea butter. My barber encouraged me on that, but it turned out for my health's sake, I'm not supposed to have that. So for my woman of my life, whoever she gonna be, I want to make sure that what makes her happy is she's happy with that, but she's not overdoing it in excess, and that it may eventually impair her health down the road. So that's probably just, I wanted to sum that up a little bit, add to it.
Save me, man. Save me.
Okay, next question is 50-50, something that you stand by in the present day society. 50-50 in a relationship.
So I'm flat out no.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I'm a flat out no. I take care of everything. My family, my whole family, I'm taking care of them. Whatever my wife want to contribute, I don't hold that against her. She can do whatever she decide to do. I support whatever. If she decide to do real estate, I'll go get my real estate license. She want to be a notary public, I go get a notary license. I do all that to make sure she have someone who can back her so she don't fail. And she knows that, and that's what she deals with on a regular basis. That's personal. But I think it's 100-100 though. When I talk about relationship, I'm not talking about the monetary aspect of things. I'm talking about how I bring myself. I bring every single bit of me to the table. So being able to communicate my feelings and emotions, I'm gonna get upset sometimes. Let me get upset sometimes. You know I love you. You know I'm taking care of you. You know I'm not gonna hurt you. Let me have that. Let me be emotional like you are emotional, because I have that sometimes. And being able to weigh those things with each other is very important. So what happens is when the man is naturally looked at as if he cannot communicate or express his feelings, he goes into a shell. And so when he goes into a shell, everything about him goes into a shell. Not only just his communication, but also his finances, also his body, also because his body will go somewhere else. His finances will go somewhere else. His mind will go somewhere else. And so a lot of times when we doing the 50-50, we always have this other 50 space that's out there that's not allocated for. And if we leave too much room, too much space out there, we're going to take it. That's just natural human nature. We're going to take the rest of the space. Y'all heard the term, still take a mile. That's exactly what's going to take place. And so it's important for me to say, hey, look, I'm bringing everything to the table. Me and my wife, we had a really cool meeting. My mom was in a fabric shop. Her mom was in a fabric shop. They had pictures of me and my wife. They showed each other. They was like, let's put them on a date. And both of us was against it. But it was old school courtship. And I didn't think a good woman existed. Because every time I went to the field, I always saw some talking crazy, some going crazy, everything was going crazy. So I was like, man, I'm gonna be a good man and I'm gonna make a great product for the woman that I'm gonna be with. And my mom and her mom put us on a date, and reluctantly, we got married. Right? Why did we get married though? It was because we sat down on our first date not wanting to be there. But we did that out of our respect for our parents. And we sat there because we didn't want to be there. We was trying to get it to end as quick as possible. And when you're trying to get something to end as quick as possible, you put everything on the table. Yep. And we put every single thing on the table. We put our faith on the table. We put the kids on the table. We put everything on the table. And we found out that we meshed. And that date turned into another date. We went and climbed mountains together. We went and got married really quick. Got 2 beautiful girls. And we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep developing together. Are we perfect together? I think so. But there's another level of perfection that I think we can attain by continuing to grow those standards, our values, continuing to mesh together and multiply and create something new. So 50-50, no. 100, yes. And if we're talking about bills, man, take care of your ladies.
50-50. I couldn't wait to jump in on that. I wouldn't say 50-50, but it is an accountability. You can't do whatever you want with your money. And me taking financial literacy classes and courses and everything like that, we'll have a play account. So we'll structure our life for structure. So we'll set up a play account, but that play account is for us to play. That's what we do with that. But as far as you just spending, doing whatever you want with your money, that's a no-go for me, because I'm more structured on the amount. Now, what you do with that play money is what you do. But our investment money is going towards our investment money. Our giving money is going towards our giving, because I'm going to require that you do this for the household. So the same standard I'm gonna have for my whole household, and they have to abide by these standards, because I want us to be financially free, not just working, I want us to be able to have passive income. And we can't have passive income if we just tricking off our money, doing whatever we want to do. So my requirement of that 50-50 is to say, you still can't do what you want to do with your money, because you need to be accountable. Am I going to take care of what I need to take care of? Of course, but it's still some accountability. Yeah. And so I know it'll be questions at the end probably about that accountability, but women, you're held accountable. I'm not going to just pay everything and let you do whatever you want to do with your money and run wild, and it come back and you don't have the necessity, and now, we're just living off me. Now, if it's team building, it's team.
To build off of that point, I think there's a couple of things, but I'll build off of that. So I would assume that the women that we choose, we would have vetted, and they would be good stewards over the way they move, and so we wouldn't have those challenges to begin with if we vet properly. For me, I know there's a notion of the man who takes care of everything. It creates a sense of domineering, and one of my pet peeves is codependence. So I don't believe in creating codependence or being codependent. So how do you balance it? I'm a man that believes in taking care of 100% because it's an honor to be a covering for the woman that I choose. And so the way I balance it is I study my woman, and I would want to find out what her gifts are and cultivate her in a way that she's expanding, and women are multipliers anyway. And so it puts that woman in a position to where I don't have to micromanage what she does with it, because I would have chosen a woman that is a good steward anyway. And so I'm not as concerned about all of the things that she would do, because we would have meetings and some form of organization that would cover that. But it's an honor for me as a man to be responsible for all of the financial load, because there's a lot of load that you all as women carry that we wouldn't begin to understand. And so for me, it's an honor to do that, but not in a domineering or codependent way.
Okay, one thing he said that I love is the play account. So I'm single, but I have a play account for myself now. So you know what I'm saying, to work on budget, and plus my kids are expensive. I only got 2. My daughter, oh my God. Yeah. But just on that question though, is that in a relationship or a date? Okay. If we date, we 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, we dating, baby girl, you not mine. We're dating. But you my girl, of course. This, come on now, every man know this. It's 100%. You know what I'm saying? It's 100 on both ends, because I'm gonna do 100% of what I'm supposed to do. You do 100% of what you're supposed to do. That's what it is. But dating, baby, please.
What's that for, sir?
You playing me? I done took you out one time. You talking about, well, you know, I got this phone bill. Pay it. Pay it. Oh, well, I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna get for lunch. What you eating? You ain't gonna pay? Why?
Oh.
We dating. We're dating. Don't have these expectations when we're dating. When you show me what's that saying that's going around right now? Women don't have to ask for money; they put themselves in position to get it. Be the woman you supposed to be for me, and you won't even have to ask. I'm gonna do it automatically. See what I'm saying? People who come up with the 50-50 concept is the women. Men don't come up with that. The women come up with that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't come up with 50-50. We didn't come up with no 50-50, baby. No, we did not. That ain't nothing we do. We didn't come up with no 50-50. The woman did. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm just keep it up. We are tricks. We are tricks to our woman. When I'm in a relationship, I'm a trick. I'm paying for trips to Padre Island. I'm a trick in a relationship. That's what we are. You see what I'm saying? So women automatically expect this, especially when they jump ship thinking the grass is greener. You know what I'm saying? So you coming in thinking it's supposed to be some type of parameter. There's no parameter when you a woman, you are. If you that woman, because I done seen women date broke dudes. He was that dude. He broke his head though. No car, no nothing. But he did something to make sure you made sure you straight. He was that dude. Just that simple. So it's the same way. You know what I'm saying? When you become that woman, you can be the broke stepkid. I got you. Because you that woman. Just like that broke dude, that women keep taking care of, when you gonna be the broke woman that we keep taking care of. Because you that one, you doing everything you're supposed to. And I'm gonna be a little, ain't no kids here. Broke people dick, broke women pussy. They know, broke women know how to put it on a man, just like a broke man know how to put it on a woman to keep her around. This is not a fact. That's why it's a term for it. So if you come in, you hear me? The hobo. A hobo sex. A hobo. Yes. So them terms really don't apply if you that woman. Numbers don't apply if you're that woman. It's just that simple. You can be broke, you can be with money. If you're that woman, if you exude the woman that man needs, and he barely have to ask you for what, because come on, man, we've been around long enough. We all know what each other need. We know what each other need. And if you don't do it, it's because you don't want to. It's just that simple. If you don't do it, we all know what each other need. So if you become that woman, I don't give a care you got a penny on you. I got you. So it ain't no such thing, no 50-50, 40-30, 40. You just not that one. If that term come up, you're not the one. You're just not the one. If a woman got to use the term 50-50, 40-30, you're not the one. Because any man ain't gonna let you that one. That's the only number gonna count. You that one.
So I like what he said, and this is what I'll add to it is that one of the things I realize is that a lot of men, even let's talk about from their young adult to older adult. As a young adult male, they might not have that money. 50-50 might be their language, right? And that might be something that person they meet with have to build and grow until he becomes that individual where he takes it all over. You meet a man my age, he should be taking care of business. And if he ain't, then, he might need to get some personal development, leadership development, professional development, training, get some therapy. We got Brandon over there, get his business up, right? But what I'm saying is that for women in today's society, I need them to look at the man that they're getting in a relationship with and live within the means of his financial bracket. I think that's the biggest issue. Is when we talk about 50-50, she want me to go 50-50 on something I can't afford? Is that the question? Or are we doing 50-50 on a light bill? Because if you live within my means and you stand with me, I'm already paying rent. I'm already paying the light bill. I'm already getting groceries. It's not a problem. Do your desires surpass my ability in my current state? And if so, then let's sit down and let's have a conversation on how we can increase my capacity. That way you can get what you need out of it versus saying, hey, let me skip, hop to the next guy or whatever the case may be. But I think when we talk about 50-50 in this society, I think it's an unrealistic expectation to look at our young men, half of them not knowing how to read, half of them most of them don't know anything about business, all of them drained on social media, and then you're saying, I want that guy. I want that guy he talking about. I want that guy. He comes with everything. He got the equipment. He got the resources. He got everything. I want that guy, but I'm not bringing anything to the table. I'm not that girl. I'm not that woman, right? And it's a really important issue because money is the matter, right? Money is the matter. And when we talk about our community, money is the matter. Money is the matter. And so when we take a look at the money, we say, okay, what type of man am I actually looking for? First of all, what type of woman am I, right? We got to ask that question. What type of woman am I? And then ask how many men out there that's in my pool that I desire. Because if it's a lot of women just like me, and I want this small group of men, probability is very low you get that guy. You're going to be single. You're going to be by yourself. You're going to be looking for somebody 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, out in the club, grandma, great-grandma, doing her thing, trying to promote what she had with, anyway, all I'm saying is we got to be clear and understand how to live within the means of the man that we desire to be with. And then if he's not producing enough, then have the wherewithal to say, let's increase your capacity. I see a future. He should have a vision for his life as well. So you should probably ask that question. But where you see yourself? Get that 1, 3, 5, 7, 10-year plan. Right? I'm in leadership, man. The first thing you got to lead is yourself. And then you can learn how to lead others. And then you have to also understand how to allow others to lead you. And as men in the Black community, I think we've grown quite a bit because we also have learned from a lot of our Black women in life, and we've developed that concept, learning how to be led from others, right? But we have to do that by looking at ourselves first.
Thank you. Okay, so this next question came. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to stack on top of what you were saying. It all starts with self-evaluation. Hey, am I really in a position to even be dating? Like, hey, if I know my money out here looking a little funny, sir, what are you doing? Like, you're worried about the wrong thing. You don't need to be worried about her. Worry about you. Like, just like you said, increase your capacity before you bring somebody else into your situation, expecting them to be like, oh, well, let me lower my standard because, hey, depending on who you're dealing with, if her standard is up here and she's paying all of this by herself, and you trying to bring her into your world, but hey, fam, your money is down here. Hey, look, you already had an imbalance. You already had a disadvantage. And now you trying to explain to her why not? And you expect her to accept that when she was doing it Hey, she was doing it by herself.
Yeah.
Like you put yourself in a bad position, and then you want to go back and forth about the whole 50-50 thing when she was 100% solo. Like you put yourself in a bad spot, and I think we do a really poor job of self-evaluation, whether it's men or it's women, because you can find a dude that's got all the money in the world, but he's generous.
Right. Oh,
Because just like our parents used to tell us, I have money, your wealth.
that's right.
If he's not willing to give you any of it, hey, shorty, it doesn't matter. Hey, doesn't matter if your boy is Elon out here. If he got all of it, like what kind of man is he? And then that's where it gets kind of murky when we start talking about 50-50 because it always falls back strictly to finances. Like, what are we doing outside of the finances? Because cool, hey, all the bills paid, but everybody in the house miserable.
Right.
Like nobody's doing any kind of self-development, nobody's working on themselves. Hey, cool, but the bills is paid.
1 8 1 7 7 3 9
6, 4, 3. Write it down.
But no, just to summarize, like,
You were speaking on some real stuff, boy. The universe intervened.
no, like 50-50 is not all finances. Like it's everything. And like we pretty much all established, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. Everybody has their responsibilities in a relationship. Hey, whether I'm handling all the finances, hey, the house is going to get broken down regardless because one person cannot do everything. One person is not a family. So whether you have kids involved, whether it's just two of you, hey, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to divide that up.
Thank y'all. Sorry about the interruption. This next question has been asked across many platforms and across just different conversations of, amongst men and women. This question here came from the last Men Talk. Why do men cheat in the relationship?
Why you pointing at me like I cheated? I think we, well, I'll speak for me personally. I cheated. Well, I know somebody that cheated. No, let me see how I want to put this. Let me see how I want to put this. No, accountability. Okay. No, I think we cheat sometimes if we're not. Well, first of all, if we want multiple women, but we really not able to, we really don't communicate that. So some men really want multiple women. But if we communicate that with you and say, hey, I want you and her, you know, I don't know if you're going to be down with that, so I lie. And so, because, and I'm just keeping it real, you know, so if I know that you're not down with it, but I still want you, then I may lie to you so I can have both. Now, I personally don't do that. I'm just saying I got some homeboys to do. Me, I'm for real. I'm more of a straight up type of guy. I don't cheat. I don't cheat, for real. I don't cheat, and this is why I don't. Because I feel like now you can communicate with women and they're going to give you what you want anyway. And if you don't do it, it's another woman that will. So I don't have to cheat. Now, when I did cheat before, it was some of it was because of me and because of my things that I wasn't getting fulfilled outside and inside of me. So I feel like I wasn't getting fulfilled, and I feel like I needed to go somewhere else to get that fulfillment. And I stepped out because I was like, hey, this is not fulfilling, but this is fulfilling. So I went to get fulfilled. But like I say, now I don't have to do that anymore. And you know, because women, you know, you can, if you be straight up with a woman, you may not do it, but the next woman will or may do that. So I feel like a lot of times internally, we cheat because we want more. You know, and we're not getting it. And so sometimes we want more, and so we, stretch to get more. And then internally, some people want multiple women. Y'all looking like y'all got some questions, but questions at the end.
No, man, I feel you. I feel like we made way too much eye contact. But no, I feel like people really cheat in relationships that they really don't want to be in.
That part.
And you can be happy, say, 85% of the relationship. But if it's not playing out the way that you want to, and everything can be great, it doesn't have to be anything bad. But if that's really not the person you want to be with, hey, like I said before, you're already starting. You're starting in a bad place. Like, a lot of people are not honest with themselves to the point of being able to be like, hey, look, I need to let you go because this is not where I want to be at. Cool, you're great, you're phenomenal, you have done nothing wrong, but this is not for me.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
But no, I think there's a brokenness that comes with people who decide that, hey, look, I'm gonna step out on this person who is actively trusting me. Because you can't, it don't matter if you got their location, it doesn't matter what you do.
That's right.
You cannot keep a person who does not want to be kept.
That's right.
That it's a self-discipline. Look, and if you're not happy, you need to move around. But a lot of people don't have the heart to let it go. Be like, oh, well, hey, I'm gonna slide over here real quick. I'm gonna get this need met, and then I'm gonna be right back. No, that's not how it works, because now you take away a person's agency to decide whether or not that's something they want to be a part of. Just like my brother over here said, hey, look, if you don't want to do it, cool. Hey, I'm gonna move around because it's definitely somebody else who's on the same type of time that I'm on. But I think a lot of people are, especially a lot of men, like they just don't have the heart to be like, hey, this is not where I'm at. You're not rocking with the type of time I'm on. You're not on my program. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Instead, they would rather do the manipulation and be like, oh, well, hey, I'm going to slide over here. Hey, babe, I'm going to work. Oh, I got to work late. Like, whatever the excuse or the lie may be. And then you go do what you want to do, and you get back to the house. Hey, cool. But people know when things are wrong. Hey, and you might get away with it for X amount of time, but hey, what you do in the dark, it's gonna come to light.
A little controversial. I think men cheat because they're weak. And it kind of goes in line with what he just said. They're too weak to express the fact that, hey, look, this is not working. They enjoy the benefits. They don't want to let it go. And all this. They just cheat because they're weak. They soft, they weak, they're not manly enough to say, hey, look, I got this problem and this is where I'm at. He stated it already. He like, this is where I'm at, this is what I want. They too weak to express that. They're too weak to say I gotta go. They're too weak to do all the other stuff. And the reason why I say it's too weak is because it takes strength for somebody to communicate where they are. And let's be honest, granted, most men have been smothered on how they should communicate, how they feel and things of that magnitude. But at the same time, you have to speak up. You have to do what's necessary and what's right. We can't keep on just hooking a fish and then just carrying it on our shoulders, just running around. And we'll do whatever we want while that fish just go drag through the mud and all this other stuff. And then we want to keep eating that fish. We want to keep on. It's just a problem. And so men are too weak, right? Those men that cheat is weak. You can use that as a logo. Communicate that.
You cheat, you weak.
You cheat, you weak.
You cheat, you weak.
Right? That's one. That's one, because you can just tell that person, hey, look, we're not good for each other. It's time to go. And that go on both sides. You cheat, you weak. Two, me personally, I never cheated in my life. And the reason why I never cheated in my life, no matter what relationship I've been in, is simply because I was exposed to different things. So exposure is also another reason why men will cheat. Yeah. And it happens young, man. Like exposure young. They get over-sexualized quickly. Men start being like, man, I want that. Uncles, all on it. Grandpa the worst. There's a lot of conversations
you got.
Yeah, straight up. And they're funded. you know. And granted, I'm one of those uncles who's like, hey, you going out with your lady? I got you. You know, I want to make sure they have a good time. I don't want him to run up into something and then they can't take care of no situation. But the whole ideal is what we are exposed to. And so sometimes we get exposed to a lot of things. It's you, man. My uncles were something else. My uncles were something else. But I also had my mom. And my dad stepped out on my mom. And the exposure that took place in my household because my dad stepped out on my mom, put something in me, said that's a boundary, never happened. Right? And it's not like that was a perfect situation for me to learn it, but it was good for the people that I've been in relationships with, right? And so now I communicate that same thing. But we on social media, we see women. What's gonna happen when a man see a woman? Man, he finna look, and not only is he finna look, if he's attracted, he's gonna start moving towards that direction. And whatever we're looking at, that's what we're going to. So when you find a man running around and he's not attracted to his lady anymore, or they in conflict and all this other stuff, like we talked about here, conflicts happen, having those conversations, money is an issue, and things of that magnitude, you start seeing him look at something else. The eyes go, the mind go, the body go. That's how quick it happens. And so as a woman, and this is just me just saying, hey, as a woman, I would give a little advice. Keep his eyes on you, right? Because if his eyes are on you, his mind is on you. If his mind is on you, his body is on you. And it's not on someone else. But that's really the biggest issue. One, the cheat because they're weak. Two, I've never done it. 2, 3, exposure. Exposure. When somebody get exposed to young, older, man, that's enticing. I like that. That's exciting. That look good. That's attractive. When you look at the food on social media and they look fine, I can't tell you how many restaurants I done tried. I'm talking about so many restaurants here in the DFW because somebody, maybe one of y'all, because I'm locked in with some of y'all. One of y'all scrolling through my feed, and y'all like, look at this. My sister showed me a potato that only got 2. So these are the things. What we're looking at. That exposure creates an attraction. That attraction creates movement. And that movement will take you outside of your boundaries.
So, in the infamous words of Carlos Miller, black men don't cheat. Black men cheat. Black men don't cheat. I'm talking about, man, this is 85 South Shore up here. Y'all better play with us. No.
1, 6, 8, 2, 2, 6, 3, 6, 2, 4, 4.
Somebody got triggered.
It's the buffoonery, I think. Triggered the buffoonery.
But back to what I was saying. So basically off what he said, man, keep his eyes on you. Yeah, like everybody you want to ask, why does a black man cheat? What are you doing to make him cheat? See that accountability, huh? Are you the one holding off for 6 to 8 months and he ain't get none? And he got to watch pornos because that happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? You know how many men sit in the house, want their woman to come in, slap their joint in their mouth, and she won't do it? And you done requested it multiple times, but yet I'm weak for cheating. I go 8 months, none, and I'm weak for cheating. I talk to her, we communicate, and ain't nothing working. I'm weak for cheating. Nah, bro, that's not a weakness, man. It's just,
in a word, yes.
Well, yeah, I guess you can't hold it.
So discipline plan.
But wait. But y'all talk about what's the Proverbs woman? She virtuous, right? She what? She laid down when her man needed to lay down, right? Well, I mean, to sum it up.
Let's not confuse.
To sum it up, right? So she ain't let down. They ain't having kids.
Because what's happening is
that woman's supposed to be in there handling that business for a man, right?
No, she should.
So
I agree with you on that. But then if you're disgruntled with that situation, instead of cheating, be strong enough, like he said, and say, hey, look, this ain't working for us, and I gotta go.
No,
instead of cheating, you can just communicate. You ain't doing it for me, and just leave. There's no reason to do something to break somebody. Right, they come back and then possibly bring in a STD and possibly bring in something else into the household. You can just be like, you know what, this ain't working.
Those fears are there.
Let's separate.
But look at this. When have you seen someone see a cow and not milk it? Anybody.
Fine. A lot of
I've
times.
never. So you done seen. You done seen. So you done pass up all them opportunities.
Yeah, man, look,
I ain't talking about women. I'm talking about in general. You ain't seen a cow and milked it.
yeah, I've literally passed up opportunities, bro. Like it's
I ain't
exposed.
talking about women. I'm talking in general. You ain't seen the cow and milked it. I done had plenty of business opportunities
So,
over
so,
cash cows.
so I'm glad you said that because now that's perfect. That's perfect. Now we can really get to the issue because it's a moral thing. It's a value thing. Like so where my morals are and where my values are, like it'll determine whether or not I'm gonna stop and holler at this chick and just lay down with her just because I'm excited and horny and I just ready to go. I got values, I got morals, and I value myself as a man. I'm sure she gotta value herself as a woman. I'm not gonna just lay down with every opportunity. And even if I get a speaking engagement that's worth $20,000 on the stage, I won't take it if they're telling me to communicate something that I'm not in alignment with. That's crazy. We got a whole lot of cool black folk doing it all the time in social media, rich folk doing it all the time. So what would I look like to be like, oh, let me just join the crowd of the people that our whole community is critiquing on that same behavior? You see what I'm saying? So the ideal is like, okay, just because the opportunity is present doesn't mean that I take advantage of it. And taking advantage can really create a situation where if it explodes, it takes over her life, my life, collateral damage happens. And so I can just be a grown man and I can just make a definitive decision. She's not giving it up. And if that's the problem for me, I'm getting out of the door and I'm finding someone who would,
But
like
it's
he
still
said.
collateral damage though.
You
You
say what?
that's still collateral damage.
It's
It's
not.
somebody getting hurt.
It's not collateral
Somebody
damage.
getting hurt. You hurt already because you leaving. You
It's,
see what I'm saying?
but it's
now
not
what I'm
collateral
saying,
damage.
what
I'm
I'm
making a
trying to tell
decision.
you is, okay, your desires may be weak. You know what I'm saying? But that don't make you weak. That don't mean you lower value because you probably stepped out and cheated. Not me personally, but I know people, you know what I'm saying, who've been in that situation and because the cow was there, they was milking it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what do we call it? So what do we call that when they're in those situations?
You are with the exceptions to the rule where you say, no, I'm pretty sure it's probably a lot more people like you. But when I say 90% of the men cheat, 90% of men cheat, bro.
So what
You know
do we
saying?
call
But
it?
it's a
What do we
reason
call
why.
it? What do we call it when
It's
they're
not
in those
justified. It's
situations?
not justified.
It's in
It's not
general, a man will call us when a man is in a situation and they're going through a tough time and another woman console them and they buy into that. What do we call a man in that situation? He was at a weak. He was weak during that time. What I'm saying is not different from the communications we've been doing over decades. A man is weak if he cheat, even if he is emotionally damaged, even if he's weak when he cheat. Man got to man up, got to make a decision. The reason why I was talking about that on the stage is simply because we have a definitive responsibility to say, hey, look, I own my behaviors. Instead of saying, oh, it's the girl because she wouldn't give me, that's crazy. I'm a man. And I'm running around talking about I got dominion. I'm a king. I put my crown on, and then I'm saying, like, hey, when the opportunity came, I just left my lady. And we talking community.
She babied you.
She didn't make me do nothing.
I ain't saying you made to do nothing. What I'm saying is, in your situation, you ain't walking away. You just gonna go that 8 months without it.
My brother in
That's what
Christ.
you
I'm
would do.
gonna-
So let's not do that. You too invested. You too
I'm
invested.
gonna go without it. I'm gonna have a conversation.
You too invested. But
We're
you know
gonna
what I'm
make it
saying?
happen.
But
Too invested?
yeah. Some people can be
Or
too invested.
invested enough?
No, some people be too invested.
Maybe you're not
So
invested
are
enough.
you,
Well, I'm
hold on, we're
single.
gonna hold our responses and questions from the audience.
Yeah,
Well,
But-
I think the answer is not all conclusive. It's not all conclusive. And
Exactly.
the reason why I say it, and I'm bold enough to say this, and I share this with many people, even as a professional, I am happily divorced because during the 8 years of the 13-year marriage, she was more involved in her business and family concerns than the needs of her husband and the love for her pets more than her husband, as much as I tried to do. Even the simple holding hands or just trying to go back to the old school of just watching a Martin Lawrence and just laughing and having a good time together. So I had to deal with that. I'm through with this. I'm out of this. You can have all of this. It doesn't mean anything to me no more. And for some that may say, well, that's being narcissist. I challenge women, please don't call men narcissists. You're placing a diagnosis, a neurological disorder on them. Don't do that. It just means that they're in a spot where they're hurting, but you're not available to support emotionally, or you're too busy, or you may say something abrasive and say, I'm not your counselor, I'm not your therapist, but he's trying to come to you because of his needs. He's trying to communicate. So for me, my story is I was weak and I was suffering for 8 years until I had to stand up and say, I'm out of this. Keep that. It's not worth my health. It's not worth me going old. I don't want to grow old like this. You can have it. It's not worth it to have all of that and be miserable and nothing's happening in the bed. I mean, it's not all about sex, of course, but even the simple cuddling up, holding hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's see, these are you take away
You
from
can be in a
those.
relationship.
It gets so hard
we hurt.
Where you can't like, so it's like and sometimes people it takes you too cheap to walk away.
Yeah.
It takes some people too cheap to walk away. I done seen people go like what they say, when God wants that person out your life, He gonna make that person do you so dirty that you have to walk away.
So this is my
So the
thing.
That you have to walk away. That happens a lot.
Hey y'all, that's a different situation. That's
It's
not what
not.
we're
It's all
talking.
the same. Like it says, it's all the same.
It's just the terminology weak is.
I know it's tough.
Yeah. When you say weak, it's just the terminology of being a weak man. You were just at a vulnerable state or something. Or weak at that state. That don't make you that don't make you overall. No, let me voice yours. Okay. It don't make you a weak man. It just makes you have a vulnerable or weak decision at that time. But that don't make you a weak man just because you made one decision. You still could be a very well a strong man, everything. You just made a mistake.
Yeah, and I agree with that. The communication was predicated on the fact of an individual cheating. So it was talking about the whole instance of cheating. So we wasn't talking about the whole man. We was talking about if he cheat, he weak, right? You guys just agreed with me that
I agree.
if the man get into this state, he's in a weakened state and he gets into this position. Agree with me. I'm not saying the man is weak in his finances. I'm not saying he's weak up under the bench press. I'm not saying any of that. He might be golden in other places, but in this particular instance, when we talk about context, we're talking about this man being weak and cheating on his significant other, this lady that he said he was going to be with, this woman that he said that he loved, this family that he said he was going to take care of. He's stepping out of that and he's bringing something else in. And this same community and the same thing that makes community happen, he's literally degrading it. He's really just breaking himself away from it. And so you see a lot of disrupted community because we separate from without really separating from. The biggest thing, and he probably could attest to this, the biggest thing is to really be able to communicate it without just going out and producing harm, right? I'm already injured. I'm already harmed. What they say, injure people, hurt people, hurt people, right? And so what happens is I'm hurt because I'm not getting what I want or I'm not experiencing what I like to experience. But I'm also, even if I'm communicating that, I'm also not sitting down there saying, hey, look, these are the guidelines. Hey, this is where we got to be. We got to give ultimatums sometimes. Our women may not like ultimatums, but a lot of them do. A lot of them want to know, hey, is he gonna? They want to push it to the boundary. How long he gonna stick around? How long? And it's not up to you to have to deal with that. She has to really look at herself when she acting like that. But the ideal is women will push it to the limit, men will push it to the limit. You give an inch, you take a mile. But you have to be the individual to say, hey, look, this is my boundary. It's been too much, y'all. Like it's been too much. What we're gonna do? Like if sex is the problem, it's too much. If money is the problem. Man, he talked about we're gonna have regular conversations. We're gonna talk about the money. It's not gonna be a problem. How many conversations are we having with our significant other on issues that are relevant versus the one we can play around and then all of a sudden we explode again? Why we explode? Because we left something there. We didn't put it all on the table. We didn't say, hey, look, this is what's going on. This is why it's going on. This is what I need from you. And if we understand what we need from each other, man, I promise you, a woman is down for you. She's gonna say, hey, look, I got these feelings, I got these emotions. You gonna get it today, though. You gonna get it today because that's what you need from me, for me to get what I need from you. But until we communicate that, and if sex is the problem, but most cases sex isn't the problem while men are stepping out. Let's put it out there on the table.
That's true.
It's not the problem while men are stepping out. One of the biggest problems you communicated is that I want more than one woman. And we was flagrant at the beginning, and we didn't tell the woman that. And she probably wouldn't have been with us in the first place, because how many women want more women with their man? I bet nobody raised their hand in this room, because ain't nobody sharing. I'm selfish.
They really like to though, but that's a whole nother question. Women like to share.
There's
Women,
okay.
They like to share. They won't say they won't say it because they homegirl sitting next to them or somebody they know sitting. But they like to share. They like to share. But anyway, I know that's a whole other thing. But
I think before that question even surfaces in a woman's mind, are you going to cheat on me? You have to evaluate yourself, and it's just being honest to God. It's just being honest. What is it that you're doing that is causing your significant other man to, because women are more insightful, got intuition, but if you're picking up on something that may seem detrimental to your relationship, that he may be or may not be cheating on me, what is it that you're doing? I mean, what caused it to fade out? What? I can tell you what my experiences were when you engage with a woman who wants to, you want to marry her, this is who I want to grow old with, and then things change on a dime. And now you're running 3 business empires and entrepreneurship and becoming a serial entrepreneur. It's going to impact your relationship because it's more about money than you two. If the intimacy is not there, something eventually is going to happen, because we are men. I tell people, listen, I am 100% male from birth to the present, and I have needs. If I want to hold your hand, I had a rough day, and you're the one I want to talk to, and you shutting me down.
Yeah.
And over time, I'm going to feel like, some other female at work or whatever going to see that, you see you stressed out, you're going through something. Yes, they're going to get me at my most vulnerable moment. I'm human. So you got to pick up on that. You don't want to experience what I went through. A good man, you built the house, you got the land, you got all this and that money and everything. And then you somehow drift off because everything is all about money and caring for your family and their needs over and above your husband, as they say in Texas, the husband, right? And his needs, of course, it's not all about sex, but if it's just being there for him, as it was from the beginning, you got to keep that flame going somehow, something to keep it, because nowadays, it's hard to even find a date because everybody's running 3 or 4, 5, 7, 8 business empires. When they gonna have time to even want to talk on the phone or evaluate themselves because they on the phone?
How many men in that dating pool that you got?
Right.
That with the 5, 6, 8, 10, 12.
That's a whole nother question.
The question, why do men cheat? I think when women ask that question is because they've been hurt, and I get that. So we have to look at it very carefully, because this is a reality check for all of us, I think.
All right, if I may.
You may.
I want to tell you, Isaiah, on this stage as a man, I think we need to have more conversations where we can be direct and we can interpret our intent. I heard what you said, and I understood the intent, and I 1000% agree with it. It's a weakness. I stand on that, but I also understand the responses we got. And so I want to invite us as men that we process and listen, and we maintain a good flow. I purposely waited because I was like, this sounds like this is going to be a touchy one. So I think there's 4 things that come down to, and I like to stay within context, right? Only talking about men. I don't need to abdicate any responsibility back onto the woman. This is about us. As men, I think there's 4 reasons: a lack of self-awareness, a lack of dick discipline, a lack of vision, and a lack of managing your pockets of despair. And you're in a relationship as a man, and I've been married, and I went a year without sex. Didn't want it. And I never cheated. But self-awareness, I'm very aware of my power as a man.
That's right.
And it's very important to me that when I enter a room that you don't assume that I'm easily accessible.
Right.
Very important to me. And that's whether I'm single or with somebody. Lack of self-awareness. If I'm engaging with a woman conversation-wise, and I'm at a very vulnerable state, and I'm married, the chemistry I'm developing with that woman, she doesn't know it, but she's pouring into my cup. And if I'm not responsible, I'll give a cup to someone that shouldn't have it. That's managing my pockets of despair. So the reason that I was able to do that, it was difficult. But the reason I was able to do that, because I understood my power and I managed, and I understood my vision. It was very important that when we have these kind of conversations, whether I'm at the bar or here, that like I said, here's my resume. I was in those situations and I didn't do it. It's for these kind of conversations. Because I have vision about my identity as a man. And I think, unfortunately, and I'm not blaming any men who have succumbed to it. It's difficult, but those are the 4 reasons, in my opinion, a lack of, and I went 6 years celibate, you know, for real. So having that journey where you can manage those desires, and to be honest, once I was in the relationship where that happened, it surprised the woman. Because she wanted to use, I won't even go there. I'm gonna just stick with us as men. Those are the 4 reasons. And I think if we manage those things, then we can be more victorious and then come to the decision, say, hey, look, this is not working for me. And after multiple pleas, we just come to a decision and then I can move on. And I'm a Sagittarius, so once I'm done, I'm done. So,
Okay, Sag.
you know, I'm good looking out.
He said good looking out. I'm done.
Okay, so I have this question and then I'll open up the floor to the audience to ask a question. This question I have is, how would you suggest women support men?
You? How should women support men?
I'm tired of making eye contact with you, man.
I would suggest that women ask the man what he wants. Don't just assume and try to give him what you think he needs. Just ask. You know, we know how to communicate what we want. If I say I want you to just go get the groceries, that's what's important to me. I don't need your money. Just go get the groceries. Do what I ask. Not in a, you know, controlling type of way. Just do what I ask, because that goes longer for me. That goes a long way than you just doing something you want. But a lot of times what I ask you to do may be challenging and against what you would automatically want to do. So I would say, for a woman, if you really want to know, ask the man. And if you're willing to give that to him, communicate it and say, this is what I'm going to do. And if it's challenging for you to do that, find creative ways to get it done, because we know what we need. Most of us anyway. I do. I know what I need. So if I ask you to do that, you can save yourself a whole bunch of time, whole bunch of money, whole bunch of heartbreak. Just give me what I'm asking for.
I jump in. So I always got something to say. Like I talk for a living. So one of the biggest things I think that women can give men is respect. We don't really need all the glamorous stuff. You know, just like you said, man, if you ask us what we're looking for, we'll tell you what we're looking for. You don't have to give us anything extra. And we probably won't get more excited if you give us extra. And so we don't want you to be upset that if we don't get excited about the extra that you gave us because we only needed this. We just need the respect. And the reason why I say this is because women will respect their pastors before they respect their husbands. Women will respect social media bloggers and influencers before they respect the voices of their husbands. They'll respect the therapist before they respect the voices of their husband. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't take that information from the therapist, from the minister, from the individual who probably is self-acclaimed as a influencer online. What I'm saying is that if you respect your husband, you'll bring that information to him and have him assess that information and value that information, value his response concerning that information versus dictating your response to him on the information you got from somewhere else outside of the household. That's the easiest way for you to support your man, is to respect him. I promise you, respect will build that man up to do so much more for you than anything else. Because if you respect your man, all these other situations and circumstances, we wouldn't be having that conversation, right? But we come up to, when we talk about money, if you respect the reason why we're managing the money and we're utilizing, we're telling you, hey, look, this is the accountability we're placing on the money. If you respect that, meaning that you give it some weight, and when you're making your decision, meaning that you think about it when you're communicating with others, meaning that it's something that's on your mind. If your husband or your man's words are on your mind, I promise you, that's the highest level of respect that you can give because you're honoring him. And so how you conduct yourself outside is going to reflect him. And he's going to be so proud about it. He'll be able to be in the gates and say, hey, that's my girl. That's my lady. You know, so respect, I would say, that's the biggest way to support a man.
I mean, I definitely rock with the respect aspect because it is crucial. Honestly, I feel like most dudes would be like, hey, I would rather you respect me than actively love me. Because, hey, you might love your people, you might love your family, but I guarantee it, if it come down to it, y'all gonna beef it out. And you probably have before. You probably have said some stuff that is unkind. But that has never taken away from the fact that you still love those people. However, if you respect somebody, you're going to watch your mouth. You're going to figure out a better way to say what it is that you need to get out. You're not just going to fly off and be like, hey, look, F this, F you, blah, blah, blah. Hey, no, hey, look, I didn't appreciate what you said. I didn't appreciate what you did. Like, you can either apologize and we can move forward, or hey, we can get from around each other, family or not. But on top of that, I think appreciation goes a long way. Mm-hmm. And in relationships, a lot of times I think that, and on both sides, but I mean specifically with women, there is a sense of entitlement that is developed. And it, like in the idea that, hey, look, I do for you because I love you. Not necessarily because I'm obligated, because I don't have to do nothing but stay black and die. But I do all these things. I pay the bills. I pick up flowers. I've learned so much about you. I've studied you to where I'm able to make your life better. I'm able to be a benefit to you because I do love you. And I think a lot of times the lack of acknowledgement of that is like, hey, look, hey, babe, yeah, hey, I appreciate you giving me flowers. Like, I appreciate you picking up the kids. I appreciate you getting the groceries. Da, da, da. Like, even stuff that would necessarily be just part of my job as a man. Like, hey, look, I'm gonna do it regardless. But the acknowledgement of it goes a long way.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go last this time. Respect and admiration. Admiration is extremely important. And you know, to be honest, I'm at a stage in my life where I don't need to complain about all these adverse behaviors of women because I don't engage that. Like we talked about the white Lexus effect. Why am I complaining about a white Honda when it get close to me when I wanted a white Lexus? Why? So I don't have these kind of challenges in my life right now. I'm too grown for that. So I interact with energy. So when we get to the point and we're in our dating experiences or relationship, where we actually get what we want, as opposed to getting what we don't want, and then that becomes a social construct. Like I don't need to spend time talking about how unpleasant women are. The women I deal with are very pleasant. So I don't have now. Does it exist? Absolutely. But one thing I'm learning is that we're talking about what women can bring to men. Is I think an apology to women is that you unfortunately have been exposed to men who are looking for mothers as opposed to women. And you entertain that for various reasons. And by the time you actually interact with a man, you have to give yourself grace to expose yourself to what it's like to deal with a man. Case in point, I rented a BMW i8 for marketing purposes, and I dropped the keys like an idiot down the manhole. I was on my way to an appointment. I mean, we found the keys. It's okay. But for about an hour, I was looking for research. You know what I did? I called 4 men in my life who had the utility to possibly help me. And in that moment, I was texting just in the normal conversation. How you doing? The person asked me how I'm doing. I said, my day is great. My job is to make your day lighter. I don't need, and you're not my wife. We're not dating exclusively. There's no need for me in real time to dump that on you. I'm a man. That's a problem. I'm looking for solutions. So we got a solution. Later on, I talked on the phone with that same woman. And I explained, oh, by the way, it was a cliff note. Oh, by the way, this happened. She was like, why didn't you tell me? I said, I said, let me explain something to you. I purposely withheld it because my day is great. In perspective, this is a rented car. And I'm letting you know that you're accustomed to mothering men who will need you to jump in and fix things. And so my apology is that you need more time to be around men who don't need mothers. And so I think on both ends, we need to cultivate that habit as men where if it's a problem, I'm calling other men of utility to solve that problem and not in real time dump, because you all are already managing a lot. And I'm not saying in the context, if you my wife, yeah, you're gonna hear in real time. But I think that's part of the challenge is that you actually give more to me as a man by giving less of the mothering. I don't need a mother. And so I think that's one of the things.
Okay, well, I'm gonna add my little couple cents. No, it ain't really no couple cents, but you know, up here listening to you brothers, man, and it's just to give y'all flowers real fast. I would say something, and the way y'all would expound on it, man, be like, yeah, that too, I forgot that part, man, and that's just so encouraging that I'm not the only one to think that way. You know what I'm saying? So like just hearing y'all say like just piggybacking off what each other is saying and just adding on that extra, and I'm like, yes, that is something I want to say, but I don't want to take up so much time on there. So hoping y'all catching it just be like so enlightening. You know what I'm saying? But as far as support, I just say words of encouragement. Everybody like to be encouraged. Everybody like to be boosted up. Everybody like to be rooted for. Somebody needs somebody in their corner. You need somebody in your corner. Even if you ain't got to be, I probably got like 6 women's locations in my phone. Like I said, I do security for a living, so I'm kind of a protector. Been protecting my whole life. So I got like 6 women in my phone, and 2 of them is family, my daughter and my cousin. The rest of them just homegirls I built relationships over the last 15 years. And they feel safe enough, like, I need you to know where I'm at just in case something happens. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is an honor. That's a word of encouragement to me. Saying you feel safe for me, then now I've really got to protect. And I'm a lion, I'm a Leo. You know, I ain't no sad. Excuse me, I mess with sad heavy. My brother is a sad. I say me to do like this, we like this. But I'm a Leo, I'm a lion, man. So like my main out, man, like when people around me, they tell you, like, man, I feel so safe around this dude because I'm gonna handle business. And this just to go off a little bit left. I'm in the club one time doing security, and I got a guy there. He's one of my rich clients, and he's a bottle popper. But if he don't feel safe, he won't pop a bottle. He been in the club since 9. I get there about 12, 1 o'clock. He found out I'm in the building. All I see is a whole case of Ace of Spades coming out, and he did the sign come out. I'm in the building. He got my name on the sign, and I'm like, so I go to somebody, bro, what are you doing? He's like, oh man, I know you here. I'm good now, because I know so many security from either hiring them or working with them. So almost any club you name, I've probably been there. I know somebody there. You know what I'm saying? So when people know I'm around, the atmosphere changes. So like I said, and that to me is just like a refreshing brush air, knowing that people that I have the ability to make people feel safe. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm doing something right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's just so that this for you brothers, man. I appreciate you brothers, man, because it's just like amazing. Cause it's a lot more of us think like this, but it's not panels like this to show us. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of us out here taking care of business for our women, but we don't get shown that. We get the negative connotations on social media, on TV, on all that. And they'll pump a mixed relationship quick as heck. A white boy with a black woman, I hate them commercials. Okay. When I say I'm black, when I say I'm black, I'm blacker than black. You hear me? I have never dated outside my race. You gonna lie. So I ain't gonna say that's what I'm gonna say. I stay within mine because I have never ran across another woman that when they walk by can actually take my breath away, except a black woman.
You better tell them something.
And I'm in the field. You guys understand? I run across thousands of women. I do white clubs, Mexican clubs, Asian clubs, Arab clubs, and don't none of them walk by me. I be like, God damn. Ain't none. And they got some gorgeous ones. Man, them sisters walk by be like, come here, baby. I don't even want you, but I gotta say something to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like that aura is different for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm black and white, like I'm one of them. You know, like I just can't do nothing outside of mine. And I don't say this is not a knock on anybody that does, because you're right, you can't control who your heart loves. But my soul desires a woman of melanin. My soul, not my heart. Because people get their heart broke all the time. People tell you they love y'all. I take your loyalty over your love. You keep your love. But my soul desires a woman of memory. And I don't go outside that because it don't even feel right. It just don't. And so people do, I'm not knocking you. It's cool. Just saying I'm not that type of guy.
Yeah, I think in general, just to how can we better support our men? Just understand and be accepting where we may be at in life. Don't judge a book by its cover, and just understand that we have a life too, and we've experienced things. I'm 64. You know, a lot of people will judge me by what they see, but they don't know my whole story. So sometimes I think women just have to be patient, get to know that person, you know, be respectful, and just understand that, you know, we're not perfect. You know, in my day, you know, we were looked up as bright and shining armor or whatever, you know, this other kind of stuff. But, you know, we face our challenges every day. I know, at least I do. And I deal with a lot of families throughout the day, and I hear a lot of stories, and I try to work with them and say, hey, listen, we need to reconcile this before it's over, you know, because somebody's going to have a guilt trip the rest of their life. So just be patient, respect where we are. You know, we have our challenges we have to face every day. And so that's pretty much it.
Okay, now we'll take questions from ladies in the audience. Okay, you had your hand up first, so. You raised your hand first. I didn't see anybody else raise it.
She was prepared.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I came in a little, after you guys are already speaking, but I kind of caught some things. I came in with a gentleman talking about cheating and stepping out. Which one was that? Who was that?
They all answered their question.
Oh, okay. I just came in on that. So, I have a question. So, we're talking about sometimes it's hard not to step out because, you know, talking about women doing their part. But how do I want to say this respectfully, of course.
Just say it.
Just say it. Hey.
She finna cook you, man.
You just mentioned that it doesn't feel right for you to date outside your race, correct? But you just mentioned in front of a whole group of people that were involved in your race that sometimes it's hard not to step out. Correct?
He meant step out and cheating?
Yes.
Cheating.
Yeah. He said.
Yeah, cheating.
He said.
But you won't.
So, yeah, what's the question?
So the question is, you won't date outside of your race because it doesn't feel right, but it feels right to ask, to talk about how sometimes it's hard not to step out on that woman.
Okay, so to respond to that, so I'm kind of like these brothers. I've only had 3 relationships. I've never cheated either. But I've been single longer than I've been in relationships. Why? Because when I got emotional intelligence. So when you're not wired the way you need to be wired around me, or like just for one example, I was dating one lady. I'm investing in crypto and stock. She gonna spend $10,000 in Louis V store. Why would you do that? You don't even own a house. You don't got no land. You don't got. Why are you making these decisions? Broke up with her instantly.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm one of these guys. I'm just defending the people that do cheat because I don't want them to be looked at as weak. Because once that word comes out, it's a stereotype on every man now.
Right.
And we're not weak by no means, no form. So it's like if his verbiage was different, then I probably wouldn't have not attacked it with the word weak. See,
right.
words mean something. Words have so much power that it can knock us down. And calling us weak knocks us down. See what I'm saying? Because we had a moment.
Can I interject on that? Because that was good, because that made me think of something else. So when you're talking about where her priorities mentally were, you do know there's difference between Wi-Fi material and Wi-Fi material, correct? Because, you know, Wi-Fi, you could just give somebody the password and they just have connections and just let anybody have access.
That's why she's over there. She's still
Right.
on the
So
network.
That's why, I mean, a lot of men cannot grasp the concept and the difference between Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi. So
I grasp. That's why she's over there. That's why so.
And just to, we did clear that, you know, we was talking about weak and the terminology weak.
Right.
When he said the weak, it was almost in general that he was saying weak at first. Like That's the way I took it at first as far as the man is weak, but then we said that we agreed that it was all a weak action.
Gotcha.
And so we all agreed that
But
was.
weak has more than one definition, though. Weak meaning, as in y'all, I feel like took it as weak, like, oh, I'm not strong.
Oh,
Like,
no, I didn't
but
take it
he
as that.
didn't
I'm saying
mean
when he
it in
said,
that.
the man is weak
Yeah,
versus
because
that
that
was
is a
something.
weakness.
No, that's a weak moment, not a weak man. You see what I'm saying? That he had a weak moment, so not a weak man. So
So if
that
he
man,
has more than one weak moment, is he still weak,
Yes.
or is this still a weak moment?
Yeah, so
it's
Okay,
a weak
it's
moment.
the same.
It's
You
almost
can't
like
keep having weak moments, or you won't just be weak. Insanity.
Which is not true either. But,
Right.
But this is the thing. This is the thing, y'all. Like,
Y'all
so-
have.
So when I talk about this state, or when I say
Behavior.
even the behavior, weak is weak, y'all.
Period.
I agree.
You
I
can still
agree.
have
I agree.
wrong.
Like, I get it. It's a trigger word for some. I've been weak before, man. Like
all
they've
have.
been
We
stronger than
human.
me in other places, and it didn't feel well. And when the scab gets, you like when you scrape a scab, it hurt, man. And so look, my mom used to tell me all the time. She said, "Hey, you throw a brick into a crowd of dogs. The dog that bark or yelp is the one that got hit." And so look, I see y'all feeling for a lot of people out there that may be in that same situation. But look, there's an activity that's taking place, and there's a decision that's being made, and that decision is being made because of who I am. Like it's not like if I was fortified in my values, I'm not stepping out on this relationship, and that's one of the concepts that we have to continue to look at. I speak about leadership. I teach leadership. I do leadership development, personal and professional leadership development. The first thing I do with all the leaders, no matter who they are, is go straight to their values. Because after that, every decision, you won't have any problem with your decisions if they're connected to your values. The reason why people have remorse, the reason why people are discontent, the reason why they're always looking back is because they made a decision that was not in alignment with their values, and now they're sitting back with resentment, like I shouldn't have did that. Nah, man, I love this relationship because it wasn't benefiting me the way I believed it should have, and I went and did something different, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my decision because I'm a leader of myself first. He talked about the power of man. I understand the power of myself. I understand that I have decisions that I need to make, and when I make a decision, it can affect more than just me. So when I say an individual is weak because of the decision that they made, is because they were weak with the decision that they made. You made a commitment first and you broke it. That's weak. Weak is weak. And look, it can be an unpopular communication, but either way it go, it's a universal activity. If I'm weak, I'm weak. No matter what plan you put on. You get a weak piece of paper, you set it on the thing, throw a knife straight through it. You get a book, try to throw a knife through it, it's not going through. Which one is it? Either it's strong or it's weak. And either way it go, we make the decision. So if I'm the man that made the decision, I'm the man that's weak. Take accountability. We talk about women running away from accountability all the time. Take the accountability. The word hurts. I get it.
Okay. Justin, I saw your hand. Go ahead. I saw your hand. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Christian, so I gotta address you when it comes to the weak word because it triggers me personally, and only because like
It's supposed to.
Just know if a man is depressed, is that weak to you?
If a man is depressed,
No,
I think your actions are a weak action, not a feeling. That's an emotion. That's an experience that you're going through. So right now, I've identified that I'm in a position that I'm not feeling too well about myself. I'm not feeling confident about the situation. I'm not seeing things the way I should, as confidently as I should. Now, as a man, if you stay in this position of a depression and don't seek help, you're weak.
Yeah.
You're weak. And it's not a problem because we put negative connotation on everything. We put it on everything. Like, man, I can't even be smart no more. It's wrong for me in my own community to be smart. I can't be intelligent. We both got master's degrees. You got master's degrees all across the stage. We go up in it, so you smart now, huh? Bro, I've been this way. I just went and equipped myself. I went and used the information I had. No, it's
You
okay.
think
It's
you better
okay.
than-
And I'm talking to you personally. It's okay to be depressed. It's not okay to stay there. Once you identify that that's where you are, we all have excuses, and I tell people there's no problem with an excuse, but you only get it one time.
Yeah.
As an individual that is a leader of yourself and others, you only get that excuse one time. So look, I made a mistake. Now it has alerted me. It disrupted my life. It disrupted my situation. Now it's time for me to make a decision to put something in place to prevent it from happening again.
That word.
Right? And should I step out on my lady, right? Should I step out on my lady and she decide that it's okay to take me back? God forbid. But should she decide that she's gonna take me back, then we have to sit down together and put something in place to prevent that from happening again. Right? So when I say weak because that's what it was. It's an activity, it's action, it's a functionality that is weak. It's something that causes hardship, it's something that causes disruption, it's something that causes more than what we desire out of what we want, right? And it's a broken state, right? And anything that's broken is what? It's weak. It's weak. So, yeah, if I'm depressed, I'm in a weak state, right? I'm in a state, my emotions, my feelings, all that stuff is present, right? But it's up to me as a man. I got to make a decision and say, hey, look, I got a therapist right here. Hey, Brandon, man, I'm really experiencing some things. Utility, right?
Nah, bro, you
Utility garbage. Yeah, exactly. And so with utility now, I have to make an assessment because we're not talking about playing and patty caking with people, right? Like it's easy to do that. It's easy to say, hey, look, I'm gonna put a blanket approach on this, and we just gonna blanket communicate, and then everybody can leave this place feeling comfortable. Now I want to stress that, and the fact of the matter is that if I'm feeling depressed, then I need to be able to communicate with somebody. You got a brother right next to you, you got the same shirt on, you need to bump him on the shoulder and be like, bro, not feeling my best. You know anybody that I can talk to. There's so many different things out there, and right now we have absolutely no excuse to be able to figure out ways to get information to move from our current state to a different state. And so I will not leave men in general the excuse to step out on a woman. Until my sister stayed back there talking about, hey, look, I'm all black. And this is not anything against you, but I'm all for my black culture. I'm all for my black people. And then I get in a relationship with my black lady and I step out on my black lady. Right. How am I all for her? Right. How am I all for her? Now he already communicated. He ain't did that. Right. So we know he's where he needs to be, but there's others who have.
But no, I was saying that though, because this brother right here, this I'm glad he stood up, because this is the reason why I said weak. Why that word weak is so triggering. Whether y'all want to say it's about a relationship, whatever, it's weak, it's triggering, period. Because it takes away from the soul of anybody. Anybody, when you so walk, I say, what's the term? Strong black woman. You ain't never heard weak black woman. Right. You won't know why not? Because ain't nobody weak. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Now what he said, everything he said was accurate. He's right. You don't, as a black man, a young black man, you don't have the right to stay depressed. You don't have that right. I'm sorry, you don't. You have to get out of it. And I promise you we'll help. Let me tell you something. I promise you we'll help. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, hold on, y'all. Let him finish his point. Hold on one second. We'll get to y'all. Hold on 1 second.
So you're saying that the man is weak because he cheated on the woman, and then if I remember you saying earlier, you said that he cheated because I guess he's weak because he failed to communicate with the woman, right? So now, in this generation that we live in, well, that I'm one of them. You can talk to a woman as much as you want to. You can tell her everything, and this is from experience. And she'll never get it. That's why I think she'll never get it. And then what he said earlier is that I don't cheat personally myself, but like he said earlier, it'll take like cheating will take.
I'm gonna punch you.
Black men don't cheat.
You have to cheat for a woman to understand.
So first of all,
before you answer, remember this is two different types of generations.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world. I'm speaking from the generation that I'm in.
I have a great ability to bridge the gap. Great ability to bridge the gap. So first of all, you conflated two different things. One, you talked about stepping out on a woman, and two, you talked about leaving the situation. What he spoke about leaving the situation. It's weak when we can't make a decision to move forward from something that's hindering our lives. That's a weak state, right? And so it's also a weak state to make a decision that's going to cause detriment to our lives and someone else that's associated with it. So those are two different places. We're talking about stepping out on a woman. You step out on a woman, that's a weak place. You could have made it to sit down and had a conversation with that lady. Like you could have at least gave her the benefit of the doubt and said, hey, look, babe, you got me in a place where I'm thinking about this ain't working for us. We don't trust our ladies enough to have that conversation, right? And so you have to be strong to put your feelings on the table and say, hey, look, this is how I feel. Because currently, depression is a feeling. It's a current feeling. That's not who you are. So those things will subside. They will go away. Currently, I'm not having sex. That's a situation. It can subside. It can go away. But first of all, we have to address it. And so that's exactly what I'm saying. When we fail to address anything, we're in a weak state. Failing to address the relationship concerning me not having sex with my wife, that's a weak state, right? So we step out and do something that was least path of resistance because we didn't want to hear her out. She's going to give us all these excuses. And that's weak. And I don't care how anybody put it, that's weak. And then also standing in a position to say, hey, look, I'm not going to tell her about my issue. I'm not going to resolve this. I'm going to stick around. I'm just going to stick around and just go through this. That's another weak state. So just sit down, be definitive about it, be a man, and say, hey, look, this is where I'm at. Identify where we are. And the first thing we have to do to solve any problem is identify that there is a problem. And once we identify there's a problem, we can start creating resolutions for it. But until solutions. But until we start identifying that, hey, look, that's a problem. And if I continue like this, that's me saying, hey, I'm confirming that this is okay for me to stay in this weak state when you know that's not who you are. You decided I decided to marry my wife under God. Said that I'm going to commit my life to it through thick and thin. Said good and bad, rich or poor. And then when I ain't getting no sex,
right,
I'm out. God, dog. Man, sex got to be the biggest thing on the market then. It got to be more than anything in our community. It got to be greater than anything on this earth. Because if sex can be the reason, if it can be the reason for calamity in my whole relationship, which creates a reverberation into my community, then sex is bigger than everything. It's bigger than the God in me. And so I can't allow that to be the epitome of my life. I can't say that I'm so low that sex is so much. I control this body, right? I control my mouth too. So I get to make decisions and I get to communicate. So yeah, look, the situations you're dealing with in y'all generation, you can talk to a woman all you want. You can't. Our generation, your generation are still the same. We still experience the same thing. You cannot make somebody believe you. You cannot make anyone believe you. I can tell my wife something right now, and she can hear it from a therapist, and she'll believe the therapist. I'll be like, babe, I told you that the other day. Yeah, but you can't. They have to accept it. So until we get into a point where we can penetrate the heart, the mind of an individual, and they can receive the information, then you can have that conveyance. But if she's not listening to you, man, just step away from her, man. She's not the one.
Okay, we have, we'll allow 4 more questions, and I'll go. I got it. We'll allow 4 more questions, and then we'll end it, and then we'll do our networking. Okay, so in the order that I saw the hands, back you first, back there, then you, and then you. Is that cool? Okay, so back in the back. No, I'm sorry. You first, then back behind you, then you, Miss Neek, and then the lady in the back, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna make this quick. First, it's a statement. You said ain't nobody ever heard of a weak black woman. Baby, I could probably speak for every black woman up in here. We don't want to be strong. We just want to be black women.
Don't even want to know.
We just black women. Being a strong black woman in today's day and age is not a badge of honor.
It's not, and it never has been.
So please subside on that.
Call me weak, please. I want to be weak.
I want to let her finish before I respond. I know it wasn't.
No, he had mentioned it, so I was just letting him know that, and that's why it wasn't a question. It was a statement. It was just a statement to let you know. Speaking, probably when you said that, you talking about weak is a triggering word. You have no idea how you triggered the black women in this room by saying strong black woman, because we don't want to be that.
Whether you want to be or not is still the term that's out there.
It's
And
just
it was
like
just used. It was
just
just
like being
used.
a weak man based on your actions, based on what you chose to do.
But it was just used
It's
as a
still-
scenario, mama. It wasn't
Right.
used as an
And
attack
all
on
of this,
you.
all of this is
It was
scenario,
just a
right?
scenario.
All of this is scenario, right? This is
Exactly.
all discussion, right? So that's what this is.
Well,
This was
Yeah,
a
but
I
response.
mean, I feel like I
to your-
offended you. I wasn't trying to
No,
offend
not
you.
at all.
No,
It was
Oh,
me responding to a statement that you said. So I'm letting you know that your term that you said triggered because you were mentioning being triggered by a word.
What I wasn't
So I'm
using it
letting-
as a badge of honor for you. I would just let them know that you've never heard this term before.
You've
which is a
never
fact.
heard the term.
So I'm just pointing out a fact. I'm just pointing out a fact. I'm not pointing out, anything that was trying to.
She not
I'm pointing out a fact
attacking
that
you.
term
Oh,
is
okay,
used.
let's go to the next question. I'm
It
sorry.
wasn't
Thank you for your,
It's
thank you
not
for
a-
your statement. Let's go to the next question. Go ahead in the back.
I did, but it's
She got another-
She
she
had
got
a
another- she got
question.
another- she got another.
No, it's fine.
Go
Go
ahead.
because
No, go ahead,
we
Mom.
gotta get the others in.
No,
Go ahead,
you
Mom.
asked your question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
What was your question?
Okay, so quick question. My question was going to the beginning about the standard. Okay, so you guys have mentioned you're able to. Okay, so you want a woman that's able to grow to your standard that may be up here or whatnot. So do you have the same expectation for yourself, or are you gonna already be at that standard that she needs to be at? Or are you just gonna be where you are? You're expecting her to grow up here. Are you staying here? Are you guys gonna grow together as long as the end goal is in sync? Like, there's your standard, but are you holding yourself to that same standard? Or are you, if you're willing to, if you want to allow her or want to be able to see her to grow, are you also either up there or are you guys growing together to make sure that the end goal is in sync?
Well, it was directed to me. It was directed to me. No, it was directed to me. Yeah. So with that being said, all of the above. Like if you look, I don't know if you pay attention to the panel here, but we're highly educated. Like I said, I got a master, I got a bachelor, I got also I'm high. I'm up. Not trying to say toot my horn, but yes, I'm in a position where a woman has to, if she's not though. Like I told you, I said earlier, if she had one, it don't matter where she at. She gonna grow with me anyway. But it's always a grow together. It's never a grow separately. It's always when we together, it's a grow together. See what I'm saying? Because I got to do something that won't trigger you to get at me, and you got to do something that won't trigger me to get at you. So it's a grow together. It's not no grow opposites and then come together. That mean we're not in a relationship. When we're in a relationship, baby, if you got an idea that I think is popular, I'm gonna get behind it. Vice versa, you should do the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's not saying that I'm all the way up here and it don't matter where a woman stands at socially, financially, or nothing. If you that one, like I said, you got to be the one. If you that one, it don't matter. I'm gonna make sure you're good regardless. You're gonna grow regardless. You know what I'm saying? Because I lead like that. I don't lead far as like, you get behind me. I'm finna go this way. You're going. No, I'm lead because if I come in your house, I come in your house. I see your trash need to be taken out. I'm gonna take the trash out. I'm a handyman. I got a construction company. I remodel homes in East Texas. I remodel the whole home. If I come and I see something broke in your house, I got tools in the car. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna fix it. If your door not messed up, I'm gonna go buy a lock. It's only $10. Fix the lock. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna actually add value the moment I step to your door. See what I'm saying? Don't have no son. He finna help me. Real talk, I just took my son and cousins fishing. Yeah, I just taught him how to fish. My son know how to play chess. My son read on the 6th grade level in 3rd grade. They trying to put him up. No, keep him with his peers. You see what I'm saying? So like knowing what I bring in when I come in, you gonna automatically be good. I'm not gonna let you fall because you look bad on me. And my name means something out here, baby. So your name gotta mean something too. You an image of me. You an image of me. Once you become image of me, we gonna be shining. I ain't never, you don't see me up here shining. You can look at the last cut, man, go on my social media, baby. To go to the gas station, I'm clean. So you will be too. You know what I'm saying? I'm have you here, and here. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? We all operate like that. Listen to us. We all operate like that. Remember when I said I just gave these brothers a flower for spouting up everything I said, oh, I forgot that part. They think just like me. We want our woman. We spoil our wives. We take care of that when they ain't conducive with what we got going on though. Back burner, you gotta go. Cause you pulling us down. You pulling us down. I'm over here trying to build generational wealth. And you over here trying to spend it in the Louis store. Louis already rich. Louis V worth $1 billion. I'm worth 100,000. Baby, you tripping. Baby, you tripping. When it's 10,000, we put in crypto, it can be triple or double, or we can buy a piece of property and put some of these buildable homes on it. I build tiny homes too. I built a tiny home in East Texas. I can build you a tiny home for $6,000. That $10,000 she went in there, we could have went to a realtor, got her credit good, got a piece of land, put that tiny home on, rented that tiny home out, and had that $10,000 she just spent in 6 months.
Yep.
See, when you do, it's a plan here, it's a goal here. We gonna eat here. We gonna eat here. If not, I'm gonna eat alone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next question in the back.
So, well, I raised my hand for the young lady here, but she's also. That's
right. She back.
You want to say something? No, I can answer. Go ahead.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I feel like that I need to speak, and it's not gonna be probably what people expect. But I'm Latoya, by the way. So, as far as the cheating thing, and I deeply understand what you're saying when you say that a man is weak, you know. But the connotation of it, it does really sound negative, and I understand why everybody's kind of. But I understand why everybody is triggered by it. But I don't really agree with that, and I know probably the women that are like, but I don't agree with that. I don't think a man is weak or he's low or anything like that just because he cheats. It's very circumstantial. And the example that I have is I had a friend, and it's emotional for me, but because I can relate to it. I had a friend, and he was married. He was very spiritual and he's very disciplined, and he's very, you know, he was faithful to his wife until something happened. She had a mental breakdown, and in that she couldn't function, and she wasn't able to do her wifely duties because of her physical, you know, things physically and mentally. But he had to take care of those 3 children, and instead of taking, you know, he was there for sickness and health, but she couldn't please him and satisfy him and do the things she needs to do as a wife just because of like her mental state and the things that she was going through. And what he was told and advised by everyone is to put her in a home, put her in a
facility.
Mm-hmm. But instead of doing that, he took care of her and took care of the kids because that's what he promised to his children and promised to God. He didn't take away, you know, he didn't put his wife away. You get what I'm saying? So, but in that, she couldn't fulfill him and she couldn't do the things that a wife was supposed to do, or, you know. So he did step out of the marriage, and he got that, you know, sexual pleasures and, you know, from another woman. So I'm like, well, how does that make him a weak person? Because actually he was strong, and he sit there and he did what he was supposed to do, because he could have put her away and been like, okay, well, you got sick, but through the sickness and health, he didn't stay there. So what was he supposed to do? Like, through the rest of his life, not have sex or not be pleased or, you know, not be satisfied in his marriage, but he's trying to stick there and raise those children and be there for her in her situation. So I don't necessarily agree with it being weak. I think that someone who repeatedly does it without any, just cheating because they're trying to get fleshly pleasures, then yes. But if it's certain things that you do, but you know, I'm trying to articulate my words right. I'm sorry.
You conveying the message.
Because the way that you're saying it is like that person is that's why everyone how they're taking it. But I agree it can be a weak moment or a vulnerable moment while they're doing what they're doing. But I don't think that makes that person or that man weak. Because also I want to say this, because I think that people, they put a lot of so much. I don't want to say it. I'm trying to say they put a lot into the word marriage, but it's really what you put into it, because you have to. God made it where you have to steward over everything well, and it just like if you don't steward over your job well, you can lose it. If you don't steward over your home well, you can lose it, your children, your car, everything. So if you don't store it over your marriage well, you can lose it too. But I think that people just use that as an out, well, I'm married and this is a God thing. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, God can make it where you can lose your husband, your wife, or whatever. So I just feel like that what they were saying, if their wife's not doing what they're supposed to do, like he was saying, if another woman come in, that might be what they need to step away from the situation, because they're being committed and faithful and honoring it, and they're just looking face forward, waiting for it to change. They might need to be asking, praying, please change, and it's not going to change. If somebody else come in and treat them like they're supposed to be treated, they're going to lose it, and that's what it took. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so thank you. First of all, thank you for sharing that with us. And I want to be straightforward with you, because one thing I deal with is principle. I live off principle. Principle does not change. Doesn't matter situation or circumstance. It doesn't change. The gentleman's situation is real. What's pertinent, and I think God allowed me to be here for you to communicate that to me for this moment, is because I have a friend. And he's in a wheelchair. He's a minister in Arkansas. And he had a car accident. And he was a fitness trainer. Best fit guy, taking care of himself. But he ended up in a wheelchair. Can't use any of his limbs. Yet his wife is with him and has never stepped out on him for decades. And do you tell me that just because my flesh desires something, that I step out on my wife, the one I made the commitment to? Absolutely not. Look, there's a lot of different circumstances that we're gonna run into, but that woman did nothing wrong. That woman did nothing wrong. She didn't step out. She didn't verbally abuse him. I don't know all the background details, but from what I heard, situation happened. And when the situation happened, this is what they had to deal with together. And he was formidable to an extent. See, you spoke about the flesh and completing that flesh desire. Well, that's exactly what he did. And I'm a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I stand strong on that holy covenant of marriage, especially when we make the decision that, hey, look, this is the person that I'm going to be with. There's 8 billion people on this earth. Could have chose anybody. And I chose this young lady, and this is who I'm going to be with. My loins is not going to any other woman. It's not going to any other woman. No matter the situation, circumstance, feelings, emotions, those all fluctuate. And the situation could change. It could or could not change, but it's present. And this is my current circumstances. And as a man of God, I still conduct myself on those principles. I still conduct myself on those values that are sure to me. Now, other men might not have that same value, but you told me that this man was a man of God and he honored God and he lived a righteous life. He could have continued a righteous life. The action is
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Let me just land this really quick. I played football and I ran track. And in college, I was a champion in track because I threw the shot put further than anyone else. They called me a champion based on my actions. Do you think I would get that label if I never won anything? If I never won anything, do I get that label? I'm weak because my actions, not because my current mental state or my feelings, because those things fluctuate. You can be mad right now. Somebody tell a joke in 15 seconds, you smiling, laughing. Those are chemical imbalances in the body. But my moral compass directs me. God, is it tough? Yes, it's tough. He said, through sickness and health, till death do us part. He didn't say because my flesh said, oh, I got these physical needs. I had them. I already got babies, man. That's my crown of glory. Let me redirect this energy. Let me get in the gym. Let me do something different. But I have that control. And he did as well. I'm not taking anything away from him for as what he was doing for his family. I'm just saying that activity is a weak activity. And it's associated with him. My activity as a champion will be a champion activity, and it'll be associated with me. And this is not to step and drag anything in the mud, but we have to be principled people. We have to be consistent, and we can't say, hey, everything is, I got a one-off, and I'm not making this like a joke or anything, but like we can't have one-offs, so many one-offs that we're like, hey, for this, we can do that. For this, we can do that. There's no place in my marriage decree where it said that if my wife gets sick, I can go cheat on her.
Right.
Both of my daughters, while my wife was pregnant, my wife had to go to the hospital. She had something called hyperemesis. She couldn't eat or drink anything. She was on IVs, taking shots and pills just so she can live. And her baby was taking all her nutrients. Right. Our little girls. You think I got sex during that time? You know what I'm saying? You think I was just in the hospital like, babe, let's run it up? Nah. I'm there. And guess what I became? I became a nurse practitioner for my wife. I was working at the time with Home Depot during the days. I started working nights so I could be there with her while she's woke. And then I could train my daughter because she was homeschooled and start teaching her. And I worked at nights for that. I'm a minister of the gospel. I was preaching. I was going to school, all that stuff. And I did not waver. Did my time pass? Yes. Did I get my wife back? Did God restore? Yes. Might be a different circumstance. But I'm saying that the principle doesn't change. We have to hold on, steadfast to our values. If I say I'm a man of God and then I make this contract, God said it's better to not make a contract than to make a contract and break it. So tough circumstances does not equate to variation or sin. If he decided that that's what he's going to choose to do, he could have definitely took the advice of his people, put her in a home, said, hey, look, I can't do this. It's a tough place. It's a hard decision. And what's tough, and the reason why it's also can be determined as weak, because we always flannel at hard decisions. Stay with my wife, that's a hard decision. Leave my wife, that's a hard decision. Either way it go, I got to make a hard decision. But if I'm going to be righteous and I'm going to stay in this relationship with my wife, I'm not going to make any merit. I'm not going to give myself no merit to step out on my wife, not one. It don't matter how I feel. And some people would be like, man, you better get in that bathroom and rub it out. Why did it have to take another woman? You know, yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm sorry. I understand that the action was wrong and it was sinful. The action was sinful, but I just don't agree that the man is weak. I just don't agree with that. Okay. So that's my only thing. The word, like they're saying, the word that you're using and how you're saying it in your eyes.
It's hard.
My perspective is not like that, and maybe other people's perspective is like yours, but I do not agree at all that the man is weak. Maybe it was, like you said, a weak decision, but I just don't think that
it was his though.
Because we all sin.
Right.
Correct. So one person's sin is no different in God's eyes than another person's.
That's correct.
So we might be, like they said, we're all weak in different areas.
Correct.
So,
I agree.
but just to say that a man cheats, that means he is weak. No, he made a weak decision, but that doesn't mean that doesn't define the man. I don't agree with that at all. It does not define.
Okay, I see you back there, but we got 2 more questions and our time is almost up. So I'm gonna let these 2 answer questions and then we can mingle and talk amongst ourselves and network afterwards. Okay. Cool.
First and foremost, I want to say this. I appreciate you guys coming back for part 2. I thought it was going to be a different setup for part 2. I thought women were going to be on the panel asking questions as well. I'm just throwing it out there. Man, I just went through 20 minutes on the word week. You going to have y'all that? No, we're not doing that.
I feel like she gets the same reviews.
Thank you. I've been very.
I love her. She is funny.
I wasn't animated. I ain't fall out. nothing. I let y'all
You
talk.
wanted to. You see,
I damn
We
sure
saw
did.
you though. We saw you. You was close.
Triggered. Yeah.
With that being said, I just want to let you all know, I'm a trauma healing coach, right? That's one of the many jobs I have. And I just really want, and I want you to hear this too, baby. Vulnerability is a word that's bigger than weakness. It has more meaning than weak, but nobody has a problem with it. Nobody wants to be vulnerable, right? But the moment you learn to live in your vulnerability, you have learned a superpower. Right? Meaning, when you are comfortable with your vulnerability, there is no amount of past trauma or any type of damage that you may have already lived through that somebody can throw back at you and use. You understand? So while we're spending all this time on a 4-letter word, weak vulnerability has more power than weakness, right? And we are all guilty, just like of weakness, of vulnerabilities. Most of us run from being vulnerable. No one wants that feeling because there's fear, there's accountability, there's all sorts of levels to vulnerability, and no one wants to sit in that vulnerability. But the best power you will ever learn to have is living in that vulnerability and owning that vulnerability. See, once you own vulnerability, you can be weak all day long. Right? Weak won't mean nothing. Somebody call you weak, I don't give a damn. Guess what? Baby, I done been vulnerable in front of and for the best of us. So I think that we maybe need to stop playing semantics with the words, because weak man, strong black woman, none of that shit is a badge of honor. Let's be clear. None of it is. The strong women, remember, the phrase strong black woman, we earned that because we have had to wear the weight of the world on our shoulders. We got that because we have had to do everything, pull up everything, beat everybody. We don't want that title. So it doesn't come from glory. It comes from strain and strife. It's a forced position. But it's also a position where we have, as women, have had to learn to live in our vulnerabilities. We have had to be incredibly vulnerable historically.
Love.
And it's changed not at all.
Is there a question?
No, I just wanted to make that statement.
Okay. Let's go.
Thank you, Happy.
I almost jumped on that one. I was about to say something about that one, though, and I'm letting it slide.
You wanted to say something. I thought
I
you were asking something.
I was giving y'all some flowers, but if y'all don't want them, give them back.
Come on.
She explained it really good, so it's really no comment. What else is there to say after that?
Oh, so you ain't got nothing to say now?
No more questions?
What's your question?
Yeah, okay. The question, well, I want to say everybody did a phenomenal job, and there isn't enough spaces where Black men can talk. So I was at T-Ball, and I saw the show yesterday for Colored Brothers. One of the things they brought up in the show is that there are not a lot of places for Black men to confide, or they feel like they can't confide in their significant other, family members, whatever. So I wanted to know, how can women, Black women, how can we create or cultivate a space for our husband, brother, father, whoever is in our life, to be that safe space for them?
You asking me that directly?
I'm asking the men, yeah.
I would say the women to stop being so judgmental. I didn't say every woman while you walking off. No, I'm just messing with you. Go on. You're right. It's hard. I know. I'm not gonna trigger you. I didn't mean to go there. No, but I think women are very judgmental. Now, I'm not saying every woman. I'm saying for the most part. For the most part, y'all are judgmental. You know, just like y'all want us to give. Y'all want us to be ready, be prepared, be there. You know, just given since we on the biblical stuff. You know, just like Adam. You know, you want Adam to be already prepared, already have everything, know everything in the garden. You know, want him to be right. But at the same time, the woman have to be there to encourage the man, be able to give the man what he need, when he need it, how he need it, and be there for him. Don't be judgmental. Give him a little space. For me, I don't need that, because like I said, pretty much I see us being solid men, and not say the other men are not solid, but you have to be able to give that man that space without being so judgmental about it. Give him that because you didn't have it. You want to go to a 5-star restaurant, or you taking yourself to a 5-star restaurant. You want a multimillionaire, or you're a multimillionaire. So just don't think it's some kind of supernatural grace that we are given automatically just because we're men. It's not automatically a supernatural. We still got principles. We still got stuff that we have to do as well. So don't be as judgmental and so hard. So when you come to us, talk to us like you got some sense and listen to us. Don't be the worst communicators in the world. Listen. And y'all listen, but really just listen to us and say, hey, I want to take them to the next level, the next dimension, and I'm willing to assist. If they need assistance, I'm willing to assist. I'm willing to do whatever. Most women are takers and not givers. When you come into a man's life, just like we're going to elevate, like what he said. He said, I'm going to elevate automatically when I come into a woman's life. Women ought to elevate us in some kind of way. Now, if y'all disagree, then it's cool. But I feel like that safe space will be able to elevate us, communicate with us, tell us, hey, I see this investment that you can do. Instead of going and want the Louis Vuittons, say instead of buying these Louis Vuittons, these $10,000, let's go get this land. Most women are not. Most women are going to choose the Louis Vuitton versus going to go get that land. Most women are going to get this hot stuff without looking at it. And so, should I say a lot of women would choose that. This woman did. So I'm saying, don't choose that $10,000. Look at that and say, hey, how can I invest this? How can I be, go to the next level? You shaking your head. You got to stay.
I'm sorry, because the thing is that I think that the perspective is maybe most women you have chosen to be with.
Thank you.
So you have to be accountable.
I only can talk from my perspective.
Right, and so so from your perspective,
So that,
I don't mean to be disrespectful.
You're not. You can't be.
Accountability lies in the type of women you choose to be with, and therefore, if you choose to be with takers, you will get taken. So I say instead of putting that on most women, you are speaking from your perspective of being with women maybe who are takers. And that's not most women. And that generalization is big because so many women in here, I'm sure, can attest that they are more
Well, I
takers.
said that because I haven't pulled the stats, and I'm speaking from my perspective. So I thought that was okay.
I wasn't trying to argue. I was
No, we're not
giving you
going
my
to
I mean,
explanation.
everybody thinks that they're a giver until it comes time to pull out that wallet.
Exactly.
And I'm just being financially,
Just financially.
hyperbole.
Just financially.
Hey, when it comes time for people to ante up, hey, everybody talk big.
Yeah.
You talk about, oh, I'll do this. Hey,
I got receipts.
My last relationship.
I got receipts.
Shorty loved to talk about, oh yeah, I give gifts. I'm a gift giver. Okay, cool. Like we 6 months in, Shorty, you ain't give me what time it is.
I got receipts.
But see, and that's the answer. That's going back to her question.
We love to talk, and here's the thing: it's men as well. Like I've learned so much about men by listening to the complaints that women have about us, and in doing so, I've learned so much about y'all. We have the same complaints about each other.
We do.
It's the same thing.
Really?
Like no matter how you slice it. So I'm of the mindset that any accusation is a self-report. Like when you point the finger at somebody, you probably tell on yourself.
Sometimes.
Because you're speaking from your own perspective. You see things through your lens. So I mean, it's the same thing. Like, hey, if you got a microscope, hey, if you change the lens, whatever you're looking at, it might be the same thing, but you're going to see it differently. So I mean, and I say I know I kind of trail out, but I say all that to say, like, it's always going to be a back and forth. It's always going to be a balancing act. If you look at something in me and you say, hey, look, I don't particularly care for this thing, or I think we need to pivot on this. I think this is something that we need to address. Like, you also need to do that self-evaluation.
Correct.
And look and be like, hey, look, there's a reason why I feel this way about this thing about you.
Correct.
Like, what is triggering in me at the same time, like that I'm seeing this thing that I feel is quote unquote wrong with you. And it goes both ways.
All right, so if I may, I'm a big believer in etiquette and protocol. So, ma'am, did you say your name? Joy. Your question was, if I can remember, was what can women do to be more supportive of men?
No, create a safe
In a
space.
safe, to create a safe space?
Yeah, so you will feel comfortable confiding. That's not just in a relationship, but it goes for family and friends as well.
Okay, thank you, Joy. So for me, the way that I think, as a man, I think, and this is just the space that I'm in my life, I think women are reflective of the energy that men give. And so if you are the kind of man that invites that energy, then have fun with that. I'm not in that space. So the energy that I entertain and that I have in my life now has been amazing. I have no complaints about the dating market. Women, does it exist? Obviously, I know that. But why would I go to a swamp and complain that I don't catch any bass? What am I doing? So how women can create that safe space, I think that is an oxymoron. I think us as men, me personally, I am working on over the next 2 to 3 years to connect with 500 men. Isaiah, you may be a part of my text thread. At least 2 or 3 times a week, I send positive things to men. So the intention, the way that it happens is that we as men need to take the initiative and we become better reflections, and the kind of women that want that kind of energy will respond. You'll do more for us because we've done the work initially. And so for me to wait for you all as women to create that space, I think is oxymoronic, and it's a mothering energy. And I said it earlier, I'm not looking for that. But I think the intent is to be supportive. But I think if you recognize a man that's already doing that, in turn, you'll want to be supportive of that energy.
Can I say something?
Okay,
I just want to make a comment.
No, we can make a comment at the end. I want to say something. Okay, I want to thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart for coming up for part 2 and for showing up and showing out as you did before. And I would love to continue this and provide this safe space for you all, because you're not only giving your perspective, but you're sharing some much needed information that we as women, we don't always get to get from real men. We get it from social media or from men who are playing the field just to be playing. So I appreciate y'all for showing up for the second time, and just sharing the knowledge that you have, because it really helps us kind of bridge that gap, not just with men and women, but the whole community as a whole. And so I appreciate that with Embracing Men Talk Part 2. And just to chime in from what you said earlier, Ms. Nick, about you thought it was going to be a little bit different. That's one thing that we don't do enough in our community, is give this space for men where we just sit back and just shut up and listen. And so I wanted to provide that, not just the first time, but a second time, because with us just listening and not interrupting and not responding just to be responding to what they're saying, we're really learning something. And it's something that we can take with us to go back, not just in our own home, but in our own spaces with other people. And that's why we set it up like this, so that we can be appreciative and hear what they have to say. I applaud you, not just this time, but the first time when you came in and you were very supportive of your wife. And every time you speak very highly of your wife every time. And that's something that we don't see all the time. The divorce rate in the Black community is very high. And it's the reason why that is high, because we don't always listen. We don't always hear what the other person is saying. And so I appreciate you as a married man to sit on this platform with high confidence, not just of yourself, but as your wife too. And I appreciate that, because your wife is a Black woman, and I can't wait till the day I can meet her and to congratulate her, because it's an honor and a privilege to be married to a Black man. And I appreciate you for saying that about you want a melanin woman, because we don't always get that support that we should. And so with this being said, I appreciate all of you for coming out and supporting Embracing Men Talk Part 2. Part 3 will be coming soon, because I think that we are doing a very good job with embracing not just ourselves, but embracing each other. And for this unity in our community is very much needed. I want to shout out to my brother Justin in the back for the brothers for showing up.
Big J.
He works with young men 17 to 24 years old. And I went to their event. I wanted to my own horn a little bit just for me and my partner winning the spades tournament. But the things that he's doing in the community with these young boys is very much needed because, as you know, the literacy rate is very low in the Black community. Our boys and our girls, they can't read. And that's a reflection of us, whether we want to take that reflection or not, it is real. And so I wanted to send you your flowers and give you a shout out. Y'all are doing amazing work. Keep up a good job. And thank y'all very much, man, for being almost stand-up men. I can't wait to see where this goes and continue to work with all of you. I appreciate you. Brandon, shout out to you for the motivation always. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. We have a cake and we have some cookies to celebrate unity in our community. Ms. Danya, do you want to say anything before we wrap it up and get to networking and shop in the Doc Bookshop before y'all leave?
No, not really. I just want to say you did an excellent job and really sitting back listening. I learned more about my son, you know, because I have a 23-year-old and it helps me. And you need this type of conversations because he's like hyper masculine right now. And so I think, but listening to you guys, I can kind of really, you know, smooth this out. Like, but he's in a different generation. He's in the generation that he works with, and they're kind of. You probably need to do something with that. You know, that really.
Yeah. Oh, serious. Serious.
But yeah, so that's a great conversation. I learned a lot just listening.
Thank y'all all very much for coming. Now we can network, shop the Doc Bookshop. Make sure you pick up a book. Reading is fundamental. You will learn so much about yourself just reading somebody else's story. I encourage you to do that. If you are an inspiring author, please make sure you talk with Danya and Donna about getting your book in the bookstore. We need it in our community. Please enjoy the rest of the food that's left. We have some more tea. We have cake and cookies. Please enjoy yourself. Thank y'all very much. Before we get to network, I'm sorry, while everybody is standing up, I would love for Mr. Isaiah to pray us out.
Amen. If we would, I naturally just lift my hands in holy communion with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Father God, right now in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we just thank you for this meeting. We thank you for the people that have gathered together. And we know that there's a purpose for every exchange, Lord. Lord, let it be that when we leave this place, that purpose resonate with each and every one of us, and we walk out stronger, more fortified in our way with each other and those that we come in contact with, Lord. Lord, we thank you for all of the communion, the exchanges, the wisdom, the understanding, and knowledge that has been provided today. Let it not go to drought, God. Let it be put into practice, and let it be shown in our lives. We bless you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
You want to get a group picture before? Or?
Yeah, before y'all get to talking, the last time I had to check y'all. So we get a group, I said, before we get to talking, the last time I had to take
I got you. Low battery. Amber did amazing. And I'm not saying it because she's my sister. Amber, come on with this phone.